Out. Hello, hello, everyone. We're so excited to see your pretty faces. I have with us Miss Kelsey Riedel. I hope I said that okay. She is a small business marketing coach with a special interest in social media growth, search engine optimization, and direct response marketing strategy. She is a genius. We worked together a few years ago on a company called the Dough Planner, and we just she skyrockets things and makes things happen. So I definitely think that you should listen to all the pretty words she has to say. So I will give the stage over to you, Miss Kelsey, and I'll keep letting people in.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited to be here talking about a topic that I'm very passionate about, which is your Instagram bio. Yes, I literally mean like the 150 characters on your profile, the photo, the tagline that you have, the website link, everything that encompasses your Instagram bio. And why I feel like we need to put a pin in this topic and talk about it for the next 20 minutes is because if somebody is going to land on your website or on your Instagram rather, because your content has been picked up by the algorithm and you're like, oh my gosh, I put all this work into creating this really viral post and finally it showed up on somebody's explore feed and then that person clicks on it and they come over to your profile, they are going to decide in less than 1 second by taking a snapshot of what your bio says about you, the energy that it's emitting, and they're going to decide with their finger whether to hit that follow button or they're just going to swipe on by and go to the next profile. So again, if we're going to go to all this effort, and I know so many of you watching are like, I spend like 8 hours a week on content marketing. If you're going to go to that effort, let's make it worth your while to get some followers out of this. And it is so crazy in this day and age. We're recording this in the year 2024, how short people's attention spans are. You guys feel that way? It's like, I have seen people in line at Starbucks, what I would call doom scrolling, where they're just waiting in line and they're going like this on their phone. And I swear over the last year, their finger has gotten faster and they're going like this. And I'm like, you're not even looking at the content, but it just goes to show that attention spans are so short these days. So again, if we are going to get a chance to convert a visitor of your Instagram profile into a follower, let's make sure we get that conversion because the moment somebody is following you, they're actually moving down your sales funnel, which is exactly what we want. So that's what we're going to chat about today. And I'm going to give you lots of actionable tips. So first, I just want to ask everybody a question, whether you're watching this live or on the recording. How awesome is your bio? Like if you were to just go check out your Instagram profile right now, and just look at those 150 characters, look at the photo you have, look at the handle you've created. Is it 10? Like it is so awesome. I get followers all the time. I'm doing so well in a day and age where people are like, I'm not growing on Instagram. Or maybe you're looking at your profile going, ugh, this does not speak to who I am, how great I am, the service I provide, something interesting about me. It doesn't even have a call to action. So just self-assess at this point. And my hope is that you're going to go up a few points by the end of this training. So I always like to start trainings with just a little bit of reasoning why I'm so obsessed with social media. So let's play two truths and a lie. So you have to guess what one is the lie here. So number one, have I landed all of my past corporate jobs, 3 of them, with assistance from social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? Number two, my bestie and I met on Instagram. Or number three, Facebook reconnected me with my aunt who I hadn't seen in 20 years, which is insane. So which one is the lie? That means there are two truths here. So you can see already why I love social media. So just think to yourself, which one is just a fun way for us to all get to know each other. If you guess that the lie is that Facebook reconnected me with my aunt, you're right. So that means that the first two are true. I have landed 3 marketing management jobs for some of Canada's top health food companies using social media. Social media is amazing. And One of my besties and I, we actually met on Instagram. And then a year and a half ago, we flew out to Canmore, Alberta, and actually hung out in person for 4 days. So social media is truly the land of opportunities when we feel energized, when we feel like we're showing up and we're able to be ourselves and really just connect and make friends and find new opportunities. But sometimes we come at it and we're like, oh, I don't know. I feel like I should be someone I'm not. I feel like I have to like put on this disguise, or I have to, elevate who I really am. And then it feels like a phony personality. I don't want you to do any of that. I just want your Instagram bio and any of your social media profiles to scream how unique you are, how different the services that you offer are, and hopefully intrigue people enough to say, I really like Brittany's vibe. I think I want to hang out in Brittany's world. And whether I work with her or whether I recommend her to a friend, that's a good thing. That's what we want. We just want you to stay top of mind by having more of a presence on the internet. So, like I said, the land of opportunities. So, I'm going to share my screen here and show you some before and afters of some bios that I've worked on. So, let's just kind of set the stage for what are some bios that are kind of like average. So, this would be a before of a company that I worked with. It's a tutoring company in Philadelphia. Before, their bio, not that snazzy, just kind of had this big block of text, certified teachers delivering in-home and online tutoring. Okay, great. Thank you for telling me exactly what you do. Then they had their website, but it wasn't even clickable. I'm like, what are we doing here? Your website is below. And then it just said K to 12, like no real context. The photo, not great. It was obviously a teacher tutoring a kid, but it just looked blurry when you looked at it from afar, and there was nothing that really popped. So what we did was we decided to make over the bio here. We changed the image to a friendly, smiling tutor. This is someone who actually works there. We changed their tagline or their handle, Philadelphia Prep Tutors. So just kind of cleaned it up, made it look more professional. And then we made the bio kick ass. We used emojis. We made the readability better. We gave the first kind of statement of, we are Philly's #1 at-home tutoring service for grades 1 to 12. Bringing certified teachers right to your doorstep. Again, adding these little emojis, tailored lessons, proven results. So we're kind of like showing that we are experts in our craft. And then a call to action. So are you ready to boost your child's grades and confidence? Not want to hire a 1-hour tutor session. No, like what's the outcome of that? Boost your child's confidence. So again, if we're going to have a profile for Philly prep tutors, this is how we wanted to clean it up. So this is just to give you an idea of where we're going in this training and what a before and after photo can look like when you revamp and re-energize your bio. So your bio is part of your marketing funnel. So I show you this image of a funnel. It's literally wide at the top, narrow at the bottom. You really want to think about your marketing strategy this way. And again, when you're creating content, you're building awareness in the top of the funnel. So this is the initial stage. This is where you're attracting your dream client by saying, here are 5 ways to lose weight when you approach perimenopause, okay? If I am that woman approaching perimenopause, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So then I see the content, I come over to your bio and I follow you. I have just come down your funnel a little bit. And then maybe you see that I follow you and you send me a DM. Hey, Kelsey, thanks so much for the follow. Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sherry, and I am passionate about helping women through those challenging menopausal years. Okay. Now they're in the middle of your funnel and you're chatting with them, building that relationship. When you launch your new menopause program on Monday, guess who you can message? Message Sherry. Let her know. Be like, hey, I know we've been chatting about menopause a bunch, you and I know you're interested in all the recipes that I've shared. Do you want to join this pilot program I'm launching? It'd be really cool to have you inside, and you'll meet 9 other women. Then you just brought them to the bottom. So an Instagram bio is not just this like intangible thing. It is actually part of bringing people into your sales funnel. So it's really, really important to get it right. Couple more other reasons why your Instagram bio matters. So again, you're putting all this time and effort into your content. It's picked up by the algorithm. somebody who could be a paying client, they end up engaging with the content, viewing the content, and they enjoy what they see. Now they're going to click through to your profile page to be reminded, okay, so who is this person and what do they do? And like I said earlier, in an instant, they are going to make a judgment about whether or not to follow, pay attention. And I wrote that twice because it's so important, and pay attention. So this is why the bio matters. So I don't want you to post an ounce more of content until you give your bio the makeover it deserves. Some common mistakes that I see before I guide you on how to actually rewrite your bio. A lot of people have not updated their username, or they don't have a solid naming convention across platforms. So if your website is Wellness with Wanda, I want your Instagram to also be Wellness with Wanda. If your LinkedIn name and your brand name and your Pinterest name are all different, there's not a consistency across your brand. And therefore, your Instagram, if it's mismatched too, people are not necessarily making the association that all of these brands are linked. So make sure that your name is written clearly. Now, you can use your first and last name in that name chunk. You can also add one of those straight lines and add your profession. So it might say Kelsey Rydell, marketing consultant, or Kelsey, and then marketing consultant. What do you think people are typing in when they're actually looking to find you on Instagram? And then add your name as it should appear there. A lot of people also, if you have a location dependent business, they forget to add their location. So just make sure that if you are somebody who works with personal training clients in Toronto, you must have Toronto in your bio somewhere so that people immediately know that you're in the same geographic area as them. If you practice globally, you can also put that in your bio, and making sure you have an up-to-date website as well. Another mistake that I see is making it all about you and not enough about them. So if you do a quick audit of your bio right now, are you kind of writing like all your favorite things, like lover of ice cream? I make balloon animals for kids. I have a dog and his name is Sammy. Okay, but could we actually re-engineer that bio to be a bit more of like, what's in it for me as your follower? So that's going to be a second tip. Third tip is that I often see bios that are not skimmable or readable. We're going to go through lots of examples, but this is why breaking it into different line by line items, adding emojis, really being succinct with our words is so important, okay? So instead of just having run-on sentences, that's not good in a blog. That's not good in an email. That's not good on a website. It's not good on an Instagram bio either. We want to have short, succinct lines and really make sure that if someone is just like looking at your bio and they have an instant to be like, who is this person? What do they do? I need to see just the important stuff. And if the bio just overall doesn't give a, here's why you should follow me energy, then it's time to revamp. And one overarching principle that I always want to share with anyone who I'm talking about marketing to is that marketing is energy. I know that sounds very intangible, but if you've ever received an email that was a cold pitch and you didn't know who it came from and they were asking for money and it was just very impersonal, you've probably felt like there just like was a dead energy there. It was stagnant. You didn't even engage with the email. Whereas if you get an email and it's very genuine and it's like, hey, Kelsey, I'm a friend of your sister's and she mentioned that you have X, Y, and Z needs. Would you love to go grab a coffee someday? I live in your area. That has a different energy to it and I'm more likely to engage in it. This goes with an Instagram bio too. I don't know if you guys have seen, a lot of people have in their bio, not that it's wrong, but it'll be like, I help moms with overwhelm. It's like, okay, but like, is that really what you do? Is that what excites you? Did you write that or did your Instagram coach write that? Sometimes we just feel a bit of a stale, weird energy when we're reading a bio or the profile photo, they're not looking in the camera. There can just be things that almost like put us on high alert that say, I follow enough people already. I'm not sure I need to press follow on this person's profile. So I really want to extract the unique magic about you and make sure we put that into your Instagram bio. Okay, so your Instagram profile overall, this is going to be an important slide. It has many key elements that I want you to make sure you are focusing on as you revamp everything. So I'm just using Dr. Megan Walker as an example here, and we'll go through all of the essential components. So number one, your username. Is your username something that makes sense with your overall brand? Okay, yes or no, do you need to revamp it? And if you do, just make a little star. I think I need to consolidate my usernames to match my URL of my website, my Facebook, and my Instagram profile. Then we have your bio. So this is where you have your name, who you serve, and then you usually have a statement that speaks to your dream client and the problem you solve. Something that shows your authority. So like, what is it that you founded, or what is it that you do? Have you been featured somewhere? Are you a podcast host of a podcast with 10,000 downloads? And oftentimes something that is more of an action statement. So like, listen to the podcast here. You have a profile photo. So it is good practice to update this photo once every 6 months. Something recent, something bright, something where your eyes are actually looking into the camera. There have been so many studies that have said when a profile photo is somebody turned away, or when it's like 7 people in an image and you're one of the 7, and there's no real like human to human connection, people don't feel as inspired to hit the follow button. They want to see you. They want to look at you. They want to know you're a real person. So do some market research when you're scrolling Instagram and see what profile photos catch your eyes and which ones are you like, that's not good. And I don't feel any connection. That's why we often don't feel inspired to follow brands on Instagram. Because when we see a logo, we don't feel the same emotion as when I look at one of you. Okay. That's why brands bring in spokespeople, because they have to humanize the brand. So we really want to humanize our profile. We also have these highlight buttons, not as relevant today as they were a few years ago, but it might make sense to just have a few highlights that say, start here, who I am, how I help, or something like this, events, travel, my book. So you can definitely revamp those. Your stories, they populate. So you'll get that multicolored ring around your profile. And then you also have this section on the bottom, your posts, your reels, and your tag posts. So this is great to just, check in. What have people tagged you in? What's going on your profile? So these are really your important elements of your Instagram profile that go a little bit beyond the bio. So I would say just doing a general audit of where you're at can be super helpful. I actually have this as a reoccurring calendar invite for once every 6 months. So I do it in January and I do it in July. I completely revamp my profile. And I actually screenshot all my old bios to see like what I wrote 4 years ago is not what I should be conveying today because I have changed. My expertise is different. What I know are the keywords that people research around what I teach are different. So I can add those into my bio. Okay, so let's get into some bio essentials. So number one, I want you to think of your bio overall as a mini sales pitch. Can you effectively convince someone that they should follow you? Or is it lacking that oomph? Is it lacking that energy? Your bio should communicate what problem you solve, why you're credible, and what your unique value proposition is. And if you can squeeze it in, something memorable. You could also add in something along the lines of like, my expertise is, or you can expect to hear about, and then write in the topics that you often touch on: women's hormones, gluten-free recipes, and mom life, unfiltered mom life. A good quality photo, emojis, and the best link to get started. So you can screenshot this but I've essentially kind of already covered. These are the essential elements of your Insta bio, okay? So I want to go through a few examples of bios that kick ass, and I'll tell you exactly why they work. I want you to get inspired from these bios. I have a few different types of industries and examples, and then we'll take some time to rewrite our own bios. So let's start with marketing_examples. His name is Harry. He's not a huge Instagrammer. He's more on Twitter and with his email list. But again, this is top of funnel for him. He uses Instagram to bring people onto his email list. So it's really important. Now, why we love this bio and why it works so well for Harry is because he's very clear about what he shares and what those main pillars of content that you can expect from Harry. So every Monday, so he's giving us an exact cadence of how often you can hear from him. Every Monday, I share 3 short examples, 2 copywriting tips, and 1 favorite tweet in my newsletter. 130,000 marketers and entrepreneurs read it. Give it a go. So let's dissect this a little further. So number 1, we know he talks about marketing because he's got it in his handle and he's got it in his name beside the name Harry. So that's good. We've kind of boiled down what Harry does, who he is. He's a marketer that talks about marketing. That immediately gives me an idea. Do I want to follow this guy because I like marketing, or I do not give a crap about marketing? I'm out. Great. So now they've made it down to the bio. Okay, he's obviously very established because every Monday he shares this 3-2-1 framework. Awesome. Okay, I want to know copywriting tips. I want to know marketing examples. That's good. So he shares what he does and how he helps. He then shares an authority statement. 130,000 people read this. So automatically that makes me go, okay, he's established. He's got expertise. I'm willing to give him a chance if 130,000 other people have too. This might also be where he says, like, I've spoken on stages at Google, or I've been featured in Forbes, or my podcast has 10,000 downloads, or I gave a TEDx talk, or I graduated as a doctor, but then became a marketer. Like anything that's kind of like a flex. And we all have this, you guys, even if you're just starting out in business. Like, what is that one cool thing? Like, did you release a mini 10-episode YouTube series on something? Make that your flex because that's cool. If you gave a talk on stage at the local retirement home, make that your flex. I don't care what it is, but just show that you're out in the world. You're actually living and breathing your craft. And then his call to action, give it a go. Could he strengthen this? I think so. Could he add an emoji? Yes, but that's not necessarily his vibe. And then he's got the link to his newsletter. So good job, Harry. He's got a solid bio. And I wanted to show you a few different types of examples here. Let's move into Kat. You've probably seen her as Miss Excel. Why we love this username? Because it's so clear as to what topic she dives into on her platforms. Excel. Then she's got her name, and then she puts her title, Chief Excel Officer. So something a little fun. If you know Miss Excel and you follow her work, you know she dances and teaches Excel. So adding in that fun username, adding in the Chief Excel Officer, we already know this is going to be more of a lighthearted account, right? So just look at how she's kind of signaling what she does. Well, we start to read down into the bio. And here's how she's broken it down. So first off, she's the Microsoft MVP. She made that up. She self-anointed that, okay? But it's kind of fun, right? And her flex, I've trained 1 million users. So she's giving an example of what she does, Microsoft. And then her flex, trained 1 million users. She's obviously trying to promote something because she says, DM me the word level up for a free class. Okay. So she's probably talking about that in a lot of her posts. So the call to action is there. Then she's got another flex featured in Forbes, Daily Mail, Insider, CNBC. And then she has her who I am, how I help statement. So notice how most people would put that at the top. She doesn't because she's got punchier statements. So then she says, I make Excel fun to save you time. That's awesome. People want to save time. They want to save money. They want to enjoy their life. That's good. She's hitting on some really important points here. Let's go into Jim Kwik. Jim Kwik is a brain coach. You might follow him or read some of his books. So he's categorized himself as your brain coach. Again, he's self-anointed a title. So could you do that too? Could you decide on like, what is that cool tagline that only you have? Your brain coach, and he uses the emoji of the brain. He's also got his flex. He's a New York Times bestselling author, and a call to action. Get expanded today. That's the book he's promoting. He shouts out his top podcast, and then he gives his freebie. So free speed reading and memory book and show. And then he's got his URL. His profile photo, also super interesting. He's looking, he's close up, he's pointing to his brain. Again, it gives you a little reminder of who Jim Kwik is and what he does. So don't overlook the power of a really clear profile photo. And then see these 4 lines with emojis is oftentimes the style of Instagram bio that's going to allow people to skim, hit the follow button if they like what they see. It's crazy. We live in a day and age too where people read with emojis. You could literally take away all the text and I could tell you what Jim Kwik does just by his photo, the fact that there's a brain, a book, headphones, and something that's conveying online trainings. I know exactly what this guy does. He has online materials for brain support. So that would be my best guess if I didn't know who Jim Kwik was and the bio was taken away. So people read with emojis, so don't be shy on including those. You don't need 500, but you could include 3 to 4 in a bio. So let's just go through one more before and after just to really enforce how important it is to have a bio that's readable, skimmable, and that conveys your expertise. So we have Cottage Designer Co. here, and before the bio reiterated cottage designer, I focus on helping Canadian cottage owners turn their cottages into dream spaces with ease. Download my free guide. This is kind of the bio that I see across the board most people start with, but we can elevate it. Now that we've gone through this training, we're like, no, I can do this better. I want short, punchy statements, and I want to make it really powerful for somebody who's landing on my profile for the first time. So again, updating the profile photo and then breaking down the elements of the bio. So decorator for cozy Canadian cottages. So we know who she is and how she helps. The flex, the niche, designing spaces that reflect your love of nature. Okay. And then the flex is 20 years of experience and as seen in Cottage Life magazine, and then book a free consult. So super easy. We've just taken the elements of the before and we've made them shorter, punchier, more compelling so that we can bring people down your funnel and actually get them to follow you, engage with you. And whether they work with you or they're just like out for coffee with a friend and their friend is like, I just bought a cottage. Oh my gosh, but it's so ugly. They'll be like, oh, the Canadian cottage designer. I just followed her on Instagram. And when you're top of mind, you always win the client, right? Because referral and word of mouth marketing is not dead. That's still how most people find out about a lot of businesses like yours. They're just chatting with people and they get a great recommendation. Instagram really helps to reinforce that recommendation. Or when somebody tells you, hey, you should hire my personal trainer, what's the first thing you do? You go Google them. I want to know that this person is not a creep. So I punch their name. What's your personal trainer's name? Okay, cool. Punch them into Google. And oftentimes their Instagram is the first link that pops up because most people's SEO of their website isn't that great. So again, reason to have a really good bio, because if I'm like, I want to check out that this trainer is actually who she says she is, I land on your Instagram, I see, oh, wow, that's the trainer I want. Oh man, she has 10 years of experience. Oh wow, she trains at the gym down the road from me. Oh my gosh, she offers free 15-minute consults. I'm just checking boxes and all of a sudden, this trainer has landed herself a new client, okay? Instagram is a mini website. So after you make these updates to your Instagram, it might even inspire you to change your website. It might inspire you to change your email signature. It might inspire you to rewrite every other social media platform that you have if you keep that mindset of, okay, is this clear if I'm landing on this person's profile for the very first time? Best way to check on this, I want you to ask a friend or an acquaintance or a cousin, hey, will you just look at my bio and give me a piece of feedback? I just feel like I'm too in it, and somebody, or say my business coach has challenged me to get 5 pieces of feedback on this bio. How could I make it better? Does this really speak to who I am? Does this convey my personality? Use this as an assignment and actually just ask a few friends to review it. I will literally sometimes send my bio to either my dad or my brother-in-law and be like, hey, what do you think? Is this clear? Because I want to make sure that an outsider can look onto my profile and say, I think I understand what her vibe is. And I think I get what it is that she helps people with. So really, really important to get a second opinion or do a little bit of market research once you have a chance to revamp your bio. All right, so hopefully now you've kind of thought about some of the upgrades that you can make to your Instagram bio. While it's fresh in your head, I just want you to pull out your phone for 20 seconds, open up your social media profile of choice, and just jot down 1 or 2 things that you want to change, eliminate, or add in right away, okay? So now that we've seen all of these awesome bios, let's just go back to one of them. We'll stay on Jim Kwik. When you see a bio that is working for somebody, that is converting visitors into followers, followers into paid clients, and then you start to think, how could I do this for my profile? We may not all be as big and successful as Jim Kwik right now, but we can definitely mimic what's going on in Jim's business and how he is conveying how he helps his community in such a short amount of words. We can start doing that today, okay? So what are 1 or 2 changes that you really want to make to upgrade your bio? Jot those down, whether it's a new profile photo, whether it's being more consistent with your brand name across all platforms, whether it's adding in certain emojis, whether it's really thinking like, what is the coolest thing I have done that gives me credibility? Are there any numbers you can share? Metrics like your email list has 1,000 subscribers or 100 subscribers. Join 500 people who receive my weekly dose of vegan humor. Okay, that's still cool. Give people a reason to hit that follow button. And as my final tip, it's okay to seek inspiration from what everybody else is doing, but honestly, what might work for you is just going a little off the rails and saying something quirky, sharing it in a way that nobody else is, giving away a resource that people have never seen before. One of my clients was a home organizer. So she goes into people's homes and does like decluttering, takes stuff to the dump, and completely reorganizes every room in their home. And when she was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she noticed that Kim Kardashian's closet was a disaster. And she screenshotted it on her TV. And then she actually made a whole training out of that. And she basically went through this photo from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And she's like, so Kim's closet needs to be color coded. She's got blazers with underwear. She needs to like rearrange this part of her closet. She needs a window in her closet. She needs buckets for all of her loose items. She needs more rows for her shoes so that they're not all packed in. And she literally created a free training around this. And it was like 10 upgrades Kim Kardashian needs to make to her closet. And it was so intriguing to people that that was what she ended up adding into her bio. And she was getting 50 new subscribers to her email list every single week through Instagram, people clicking that link because she kept posting content that was like, 2 things I would do to edit this part of Kim's closet. 1 thing I would do to organize her shoes. And she would share that content and then say, if you want the full training and some practical tips on how to make your closet way less chaotic, click the link in my bio. And again, she was using that as part of her funnel to get new email subscribers. And then in her emails, she would say things like, if you could hire me, or if you could have me in your home for a day, which room would you have me organize? A, closet; B, bathroom; C, bedroom; D, basement; E, garage. And then she'd get people responding to her emails being like, E, my garage is a freaking disaster. And then she'd be like, okay. And all of a sudden, she had people at the bottom of her funnel. So it went from Instagram content, reading her bio and joining her newsletter list, to sharing value in the newsletter that got a response. And then all of a sudden, clients converting into paying clients because they just admitted they had a problem. And then she'd go through the sales process with them. So, what a clever way for a home organizer to get clients. And a big piece of that was her Instagram bio and taking people from Insta over to her email list, email to cash in the bank. So that's like a bit of an overview of your IG bio. So I hope this was helpful. Of course, there is always testing and iteration to be done with marketing. So get started, try a few changes today, ask some friends, and then just always keep in mind that you can upgrade at any moment. If the word that you punched in today doesn't fit tomorrow, just make the change, right? That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur, is that we can pivot, we can evolve, and we can optimize at any time. And if you want to send me your bio, I'd love to review it. So you can connect with me at Kelsey Rydell on Instagram. And I hope this was helpful. So thank you.
Kelsey, that was so incredible. And we are going to love to drop this freebie of yours so that this can live forever and ever. And I know a ton of our auditorium members are just going to love this and love watching the replay of this too. And I cannot wait to get started on revamping my bio. So this is incredible.
You're so welcome. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right. And to everyone else, have an incredible rest of your day and go shoot us your bios. Cannot wait to read them.
Bye, everyone.